Yeah, so because I need to do it, please smile. All right, everybody. We have a lot of empty seats scattered around. We'd like to get everybody nice and consolidated. Gentlemen's in the back. It's time to start the show, everybody. All right. Wow, nice and quiet. Do I need to do talking tape? I don't think so. All right. Good afternoon, good evening, New York. Welcome to Startup Weekend New York City Education.
I hope you're deleting that part.
I'm glad you've been grinding and participating all weekend. How are you feeling right now? Come on, how are you feeling right now? How has this not been one of the most amazing experiences of your life, right? You took an idea, a 60-second idea, and turned it into something real, something validated, and something you're going to present to some of New York's finest. And, you know, everyone, but now the spotlight's on you, all right? Twitter, use it. It's awesome. Everybody around the world has been paying attention to what you're doing. Seriously. Seriously. So make sure that you are all having conversations, interacting. Sign up for Twitter if you don't have it yet. Interact with the hashtag NYCEDU. The spotlight is currently on you. First, actually, you're supposed to be doing this, aren't you? I'm going to hand this over to your lead organizer, Deborah Chang.
I'm here today to just recognize all the work that people have put into the weekend from the organizing team. So my name is Deborah Chang. I'm an education technology consultant. I also want to recognize Ben Newton, who's the director of strategy at Avenues. And thank you as well to Laura Patterson, who is an innovation enthusiast. Ingrid Spielman is a biophysicist researcher. And we have David Fu, who is the chief hustler at New York City at 4.0 School. Appreciate it. So this event is held at Avenues, which has generously given us this space to work in all weekend and this wonderful space as well to have this demo day. We had wonderful coaches come all of Saturday and all of Sunday to give teams feedback on their idea and on their presentation. So we thank all of the coaches in the room as well. Can we give them a round of applause? And finally, this event could not have been possible without our local sponsors. We have Elemental Paths, which creator of Cognichoice, 4.0 Schools, Dig In, Kidhu, and Noodle, who sponsored meals. And then we finally have General Assembly, Mintz Levin, and Creative Tim, who gave space, legal consultation, as well as free design kits for our participants this weekend.
All right, first of all, give it up for Deborah Chang, everybody. For the rest of the organization team as well. They have been incredibly diligent, working very hard to make this great event possible. And also thank you for letting me come here. I kind of actually begged to come here when I heard that it was happening, and I was like, could you just have me here, please? I love you. And I hope it all turned out okay. For those of you who don't know me, that's okay. My name is Li Ngo. I am actually a representative from UpGlobal, the parent organization of Startup Weekend. That is a very recent situation. Before that, I was an organizer just like you, especially in the education space out of Pittsburgh. So education is one of my great passions. I love what Startup Weekend does for the educational space, the kind of things it inspires, and hope that many of you that were educators who were, or any other position that is completely new to entrepreneurship can realize that as well. Yeah. So as a member of UpGlobal, I'm also a representative of education entrepreneurs. Now the great thing, and I think everyone's feeling this now, is that Startup Weekend and education makes a lot of sense. So much so that we actually created an entire department around this very issue called Education Entrepreneurs. We're not just Startup Weekend education, we also do boot camps and pre-events, things to prepare you the little tasks that you've been learning this whole weekend. We also do meetups, have many online resources, and in the fall we're going to have a huge summit where people just like you created companies out of this event will all meet and exchange together and really have a great time. So give it up for Education Entrepreneurs. The partners of Education Entrepreneurs have been very instrumental in providing the kind of finance, programming, etc., that have made events like yours possible. Our big one is the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. If none of this would have been possible, the entire existence of EE wouldn't be possible without them. But we also have some wonderful partners in EdSurge and Magic K-12 and 4.0 schools. So, sorry, David works for them, so I have to kind of do that. So, at the beginning of this presentation, I talked about the entrepreneur's journey, right? At this point, you're all pretty much like, what? That wasn't a journey. That was a sprint, right? If anything, that was a sprint that was probably laced with, various kinds of upper drugs or whatever. But hopefully, no one did that, right? Looking right at you. Coffee. Okay, coffee's fine. Coffee's fine, right? But at Up Global, we're not just about Startup Weekend, right? We realize that Startup Weekend is only the beginning of your entrepreneur's journey. We offer so much more programming, especially even specifically education entrepreneurs, that help you along the way. So please look us up, check out the kinds of things we're doing, check out the kinds of things especially that in this city alone has been doing for a long time now. Startup Weekend we're huge fans of all the work that's been done right here in New York City. So please, stay in touch, get connected, introduce yourselves, and be more involved after this. I think, how many more events are going to be happening after this? There's an event next month. 3 more events. There's an event next month, and an event after that. So please, please, please stay involved. Right now, this is you, and this is the world. And each little green dot is another event just like you, another community that's been inspired just like you. And as a representative from Up Global, I'm more than happy to connect you to any one of those little dots out there, right? You're now a part of a global network that is accessible by a simple little 7-character email that I have told to everyone here, right? Don't ever forget that. Don't forget that that's the kind of connection that you're a part of now. But it's been a crazy 54 hours, right? A few ups, a few lows, a few times where we pie, a few times where I've actually had some real talk with a few of you. But all in all, this is the kind of journey that you'll never forget. And we're not alone. Just a few hundred miles south, we have another event that's been sending us love back as well. So don't forget to have some shout outs over in DC. They're doing a maker event right now. They're excited to hear about you and they'll be following you as well. So, pretty much at the beginning, things were kind of high. We did a little pitches. We did a, epic rock, paper, scissors. Things were going great. Then comes Saturday, things kind of fell apart, right? I think I had at least 2 or 3 teams that thought they were going to quit, but fortunately, nobody quit. Also, wait, nobody quit, right? Nobody quit, right? You don't know how many people One of my personal goals for every event that I do is make sure that everybody makes it from start to finish. And that simply is because you have to experience the entire journey to understand the value of it all. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy, but it's supposed to be impactful. And I hope that impact is necessary. But right now, we're all feeling a little bit like Simon Cowell, right? The magic's about to happen. So we have 13 teams. We actually, instead of making sure 12 teams started from start to finish, we grew another team somehow. Awesome. Yes, growth, validation, what's up? All of these teams can also be connected with on Twitter as well. Make sure you take pictures. I think we've been retweeting this as well. Please, when these presentations are going down, don't hesitate at all to talk about them right here and now, right? Because other people will be as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to the judges. Honestly, I have no idea who they are, so I'm going to let them introduce themselves. All right, starting with you.
I'm not Jason, sure. But Jason stuck me with going first. So I was a producer at NBC News, and I left in 1997 when I realized educator is the most important job in the world. So I'm now a teacher, education consultant, mother of 2 tech-savvy boys, and edublogger at Scholastic.com.
Wait, your name is?
I'm Christy Crawford.
So my name is Jason DeRuner. I'm co-founder and CEO of TeachBoost, and we're an instructional leadership platform that helps turn every principal, teacher and a district administrator into a great instructional leader and give teachers great feedback. So I'm excited to see what you guys have all built.
My name is Wiley Sorelli. I've been dropped out of college when I was 19, but I joined the founding team of Seamless. So I was in the executive team there for 10 years. We were acquired, and I started another company called Single Platform. We were acquired a couple years ago, and I'm a venture partner at First Round Capital. So I invest in early stage technology companies with a deep passion for ed tech. So really excited to see what you all have built over the last couple of days.
I'm Preeti Birla. I work with the Office of Innovation at New York State's Department of Ed. For the last 2.5 years, I've been working on a project building a smart ed tech pipeline. So I've worked with probably somewhere over 300 early stage companies. I was also a co-organizer last year of Startup Week in Education. So I'm excited to see the pitches today.
Thank you very much, judges. Whoa. Prizes. We haven't talked about prizes all weekend, have we? Yes, there are prizes, and prizes are good. Prizes drive incentive up, and prizes keep your projects going forward. But the most important prizes aren't things like cash or things like cash. I'm sure you all want cash, right? What's most important right now for all new startups is to meet more people. Meet the kind of people that you've been meeting all weekend. And the prizes that these organizers have set up for you through very assertive sponsorship and wonderful support are things that are designated to help that conversation going, to explore those possibilities as well. For our first prize winners, guaranteed interviews with Imagine K-12. Who's familiar with Imagine K-12 in this hand? Raise your hands. Well, you should be. Imagine K-12 is essentially the leading EdTech incubator in the world, right? They have year-long cohorts, and every year they give $100,000 to each of the teams they accept into their program. So they're based out of San Francisco, and they've been a wonderful partner with education entrepreneurs. 4.0 schools also. Actually, you want to come and describe it a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm gonna let the corporate
Yeah, no, I'll just say it. So 4.0 schools, we are an education incubator for education entrepreneurs, such as all of yourselves. And I think we are particularly good at the early stage. So, I mean, I'm going to toot my own horn here a little bit and say I think we're the best next step if you want to continue working on your idea from here, or if you've got a different education idea you want to come to us with. We run a workshop, and we also run a 3-month, just like a traditional accelerator program. And some of our companies have gone on to the likes of Imagine K-12, Katherine's EdTech Accelerator, etc. So, yeah, thanks.
We also have legal consultation. I think we had last night a few people concerned about their legal situation with their companies, and that's okay. So the sponsor set up with Mintz Levin, a wonderful firm here based in New York City that decided to work with startups just like yours as well. And finally, we have Grand Central Tech, also guaranteeing an interview with the first place team as well. For second and third place, they offer coaching out of 4.0 schools, just like David described, and also the same legal consultation. So give it up for our sponsors. But the votes are not just about the judges. We also want to hear from you as well. So everyone in this room, including in the back, can all participate in the evaluation of the work that's been done this weekend. So please fill out this Google form. It's available at bit.ly/NYC-EDU-feedback. All no caps. And please fill out that form by 7 p.m. when it will be tabulated, all right? I'll let the people, I'm gonna wait until all the cell phones drop so that the pictures are taken. bit.ly/NYC-EDU feedback. Sorry, did I make people nervous just now? All right, I know we've gone over this again and again and again, but the judging criteria. This time, however, I'm gonna let the judges tell you what the judging criteria is, starting with Christy. Validation, please read the top 3 questions.
Okay, so Does your team get out and talk to customers? Question number one. Are you actually solving a problem? Number two, and number three, have you identified a specific target market?
All right. Execution and design, Jason.
So execution and design. Christy, you said that. I'm sorry, I need to go first. But come on. Execution and design. Do you have an MVP or a prototype? How functional is your technical demo? Design matters. Is your product easy to use?
All right. Business model. Wiley.
Sure. Teach you all to read, so I don't have to read this out loud. One. Are you solving a problem? Is your idea unique? And how will you make this a successful business?
All right. Last but not least, educational impact. Preeti.
Solving a problem in education, well suited for the education market, high impact for education stakeholders, rooting for Michigan State in the final.
Wait a minute. Strike that last part of the record. Strike it out. All right. So now we all know. No more questions. How do I win Startup Weekend? They know. You all know. We can move forward and get tensed up. Okay. Sorry, this thing's long. All right. So, how the rest of this afternoon and evening is going to work. First, teams are going to pitch for 5 minutes. We have the order of the teams listed right here, starting from balance lesson all the way down to math matchup, right? You have a hard 5 minutes to present your idea, including your demo. Afterwards, after the stop, the judges are permitted 2 minutes for Q&A. We request brevity on all fronts. Try to be as brief and simple as possible. We're trying to get answers as quickly as possible as well so that we move right along. How many speakers are you allowed to have at most? 2. How many speakers probably you should have anyway? 1. Very good. You'll also have 1 person on tech, right? So basically, 1 person will be a speaker, just like me, talking about what your slides are, and we'll be using the clicker to move the slide deck along. I apologize, it's a little bit slow because we have a lot of things running at the moment, but just be patient and bear with it. It is working, right? We also, when you are ready to demo your product, signal over to your tech person, work with David over here, and we have your demo set up right next to your presentation in the computer. So all you have to do is click right over and do your demo, all right? While that's happening, the next team moves all the way over to this staging area right here. That is our on-deck stage, stage left. And during the Q&A session with the judges, the next team is going to go ahead and set up their presentation and go whenever the session is over. All good, right? Finally, have fun. But how are we gonna have fun? How are we gonna have fun while we're like all quiet and concentrating? Tweet. Let's tweet. Let's make fun of each other. Let's be really mean and caustic. No, I'm kidding. Don't be mean and caustic. But engage with it. Yes, that's right. Rule number 3 of Startup Weekend. Be nice. Always be nice, because the internet is forever. All right, everyone clear? Any concerns? There's 1 mic for the judges, and there is 1 mic for you.
Yeah, there's 2 people, and then use the mic.
The 2 people have to share the mic, while one of them stands awkwardly. Or were you not paying attention this morning? Weren't you the one I brought up? Oh, that was you. I wasn't. All right. Very quickly, any other questions? All right. Let's do this. Balance lesson, you are up. Give balance lesson a round of applause for the Oh, one more thing, sorry. One more thing is the entire team should go to the staging area, and during the Q&A, the entire team is allowed to come up and be recognized for the work that you do. Just during the presentation part, you can only have up to 3 people, 2 speakers, and 1 tech person. Okay? Very good. So while we're waiting for David to
refresh our demo and our deck, I just want to say it is really weird being the only one in an eye patch here. It's weird. And I do want to confirm rumors that I am wearing this eye patch because of a very serious balcony accident. Balcony, yeah. That sounds a lot more badass than I tore my cornea taking my contact lens out. So. Sympathy votes do count. So.
Do we have the next team also on deck? Great. Okay, so I think we're actually having a device problem. Yes. Are any of you, like, let's limit everyone to just one device right now. So if you're on your computers and your laptops, please choose one to engage on the internet. Right now we probably have way too many devices currently, and it's like logging the internet right now. Okay. YouTube.
I really should have slowed the pacing of my opening jokes. Really blew that one. Yeah. All right, sorry, we're probably going to have to take a little 15-minute break, just so we can probably reboot the system and see what's going on. Go ahead and mingle yourself. We have a little bit of coffee, and then we're going to restart right here, okay? Thanks.
We'll be back here at 5:35. 9 minutes.
It's like the lighting of misery of I know. But although now we can add our
like was thinking it was the opposite. Like, it'd be the really like back in the next one, it'd be constantly. Yeah, maybe they're yeah, I fish works on either way they ask. Maybe like it's just like a thing like everyone's thinking like that the person assigned like the lady the assistant is gonna have did it and that person got it.
Greg, I that's what's making it fast. No, I was just I'm an organizational person. Which party? Yeah, I'm Sarah. Yeah. I'm the director of the program. She's no longer with us. Yeah. Yeah. She's awesome. Miss her. Yeah. Well, we have one program right now that's rolling off. It's sunsetting on FY3. That's everyday virtual special education. And then our Story Studio program is a brand new FY3 grade team. So, yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's great. We love the people out in the FY3 office. It's so great. Yeah, it's scary, right? So, high supervised stakes, but those guys are definitely we go well, I think so. We just got a relationship like there's some federal funding to arts grants, and we first research programs in slide 3, and then I think with the everyday arts and special programs, we're going to go. Do you want the whole thing? Yeah, but I'll get on it. I remember it. You think of pretty good. And first thing you do is stack that awesome. Why is it so difficult to get it on the phone and post the video from your phone?
Raise your hand if you're from Poly. Poly, where are you guys? If you, raise your hand if you're from Dream Coach. Dream Coach, Coach Dream, Dream Coach. No longer exists?
I'll wait till the next meeting.
Coach. Oh, you guys have to. Mr. Caesar, where are you at? Everybody. Start working it with the EU. Clap once if you can hear me. Clap twice if you can hear me. Clap 3 times if you can hear me. And clap 4 times if you just saw our entire system crap out in front of us. Alright. So all y'all probably saw like earlier this afternoon, I was like a ball of stress, working in front, doing tech checks, making sure everyone does tech checks. Now does everyone know why we do tech checks? Because technology is complicated. But we worked out a decent system. Basically what happened was we had 14 very big presentations, all synced up to one Google Chrome browser, and then 150 people using the same Wi-Fi network. Only one thing can happen. But we have a much more efficient system going on, and we're all ready to go. First of all, can everyone stand up? Let's stand up really quickly. All right. As Taylor Swift might say, let's shake our hands, let's shake it off. Shake your hands, get loose, kick out a bit, get out a bit, jump up and down. Jump up and down, yes, yes. Believe in it. And let's start with bounce lesson.
Thank you. Okay, who's timing this? You are. Let's just take 5. No. Okay, hi everybody. I am Greg, and this is Balanced Lesson. Okay, so technology is complicated, but our idea is simple, and our product is easy to use. If we know that 10% of all public school students are English language learners, then we know that that means that there's only one ESL specialist, English as a second language teacher, for all of those kids. These teachers don't have the capacity to reach all of these kids. And unfortunately, our gen ed teachers don't have the training that they need in order to really make an impact with this population's unique needs, right? So, because our ESL students, they aren't just in ESL classes. Our English language learners are in social studies classes, they're in science classes, they're in all classes. So, just like you want to serve your family a nutritious meal by making sure you have variety and you have all of the food groups in there so that they're getting all of the nutrition they need, we want teachers to serve our students a balanced lesson plan. So basically, our product is going to put an ESL specialist in the pocket of every gen ed teacher in your building. Okay, so our platform has a lot of features, but here are some of the highlights. It's Common Core aligned, so that means we're preparing our English language learners to be tested with the new Common Core aligned tests that are coming up. It's structured yet flexible templates. The experience, there's embedded professional development in the experience. So when our user goes online, follows our suggestions and our prompts, they're getting education in what are the proven practices in the English language learner classroom. And the user has the ability to save and share their lesson plans right on the site. So let's take a look at the demo
Okay, so here's
an example lesson. So this is on the Kalahari Desert. And some of the things you'll notice is we are giving the teacher instant feedback on the side if they're including things in their lesson that are important to include for English language learners. At the top, we have some more feedback. In this case, it's saying that we should probably include some multimedia to improve the lesson. This here is our balance score. So that's saying once you get to 100%, theoretically your lesson is well balanced for an ELL student. And then here's just an example of being able to come in and go through our curated selection of sites to add multimedia in this case.
Cool. So the user goes onto the platform, they browse our menu of our library of rich resources, they choose the things they like, and what does it look like when you pull your lesson through our machine? You get visual prompts. You can add background information so the student has the information they need to fully understand the content. You can add multimedia. There's explicit vocabulary embedded into your lesson now. You have the ability to annotate your master text. And there's student-centered learning activities, and every class ends with a student share and a reflection. Because why? Hey, let's do that. Why this? Because we know that teaching to English language learners is just good teaching. So our business model.
Okay, so our business model is this. Teachers can use the product for free in the foreseeable future. But where we're going to make our money is on districts paying for analytics so that they can see the progress of their teachers as they're using the software, and then also for professional development services. So we're going to have that embedded PD right in the software, but then there will also be online courses for teachers to get their required PD.
So we did validate this over the weekend. We talked to a lot of ESL classroom teachers and English language arts classroom teachers. We also talked to school leadership both in New York and Los Angeles, and everyone's sort of expressing the same need. There's too many students and too few teachers. So with this tool, this is going to allow teachers to strengthen their practice by planning collaboratively with each other, learning from each other, sharing consistent teaching methods, and really making the impact on their students. We are Mobility Labs and Urban Arts Partnership, and this is a really cute meerkat.
All right, let's give it up for Balance Lesson. Again, questions?
Oh, right.
So thank you, first of all. So my first question, my only question is who are you and why are you two the people to build this company and make it a success?
Okay, well, I do a lot of professional development with teachers, and over the past 4 years, I've been piloting a federally funded program called Story Studio, where we use storytelling and visual arts to help increase fluency and proficiency in English language learners. And so we do this in New York and in LA. We're in over 100 schools in New York and about 20 in LA. And so over the course of this, I've met a lot of educators and a lot of school leaders who are facing this problem, and it's just really emerged as something that's authentic and a genuine need that needs to be looked at.
Yeah, and my company, Mobility Labs, does a lot of education software work for various nonprofits and foundations, like the Gates Foundation and the Loren-John Arnold Foundation. And so we have experience building lesson plan creation tools and other online learning platforms that really fit with this.
Thanks. Thank you for the presentation. My question is around this, in terms of the assumption there of why multimedia would be the way to, kind of measure a well-balanced lesson.
Yeah, that's a good question. And it's not just multimedia. I know I really sped through the presentation, but this is designed looking at a balanced literacy class. What are the proven methods? And we know statistically what is working to help students become better at learning English language. And those things are embedded explicit vocabulary, but there also needs to be a lot of visual prompts. The multimedia allows for sort of multiple intelligences, like different types of learners have different entry points into the curricula. And so that's sort of the idea behind this is you can pull your lesson, an already existing lesson, through our tool to enrich it, make it more balanced by using these ideas. You can also create a lesson from scratch.
Okay. Good job. All right, next up we have you good? Breakthrough.
Hi, welcome. We are Team Breakthrough. So in today's educational model, it's not structured to teach life skills, right? A lot of people in this room are teachers, and you're focused on the classroom skills. You're focused on the core curriculum. You're focused on art and music and dance and theater. But you know what you're not really focused on in class because you don't have the time is those life skills. So what I've found is that millennials get through high school and they get through college and they're missing some key life skills. I should have learned this first. I am missing a key life skill. So what we're looking to do is create a frictionless marketplace to connect millennials, especially people in their 20s and 30s, with people who can help them with goal setting, self-actualization, figuring out the next step in their paths. So for example, we found 20 people in their 20s and 30s that say, gosh, I'm an investment banker, and this isn't how did I get here and how do I get to the next step? This is not how I wanted my life to be. Or the person who said, gosh, I always wanted to be an investment banker, but here I am as an analyst, and how do I get to the next step? So what we're creating is an online marketplace to connect millennials, especially people in their 20s and 30s, with people who can give them these skills. So what's really important too is we've created a low-cost marketplace, right? We're not trying to capture the market of your $250 or $400 an hour life coach, or we talked to somebody who had just gone to a training session for $1,000 a ticket. That's not what these people are looking for. We're looking for somebody who can come to them and say, hey, listen, I've got some experience in this. I can help you to the next step. And maybe it's $25 an hour or $40 an hour. So who needs breakthrough? This might not surprise you, as I think many of you are from New York. But when we looked, we found that 40,000 people a month in New York City alone search for life education instruction. And that's not people who want online instruction or to read things. These are people who actually search for things like life coach or tutors or instructors, people who want that one-on-one, right? People say, oh, millennials want to do everything online. They want to do everything in groups. That's not what we're finding. We're finding a lot of need for one-on-one. So you say, okay, this seems pretty simple. There's got to be some competitors out there. And there are some. You've got Life Coach Hub, which isn't a bad place to be, except it's in Australia. But it does demonstrate that there is a need and there is a market. And our economy and our structure here is pretty darn similar to Australia if you're looking for a comparable country. Life Coach Spotter was somebody who said, hey, here's a good idea, and they just haven't rolled it out. You can go on there, you can fill out a form, maybe they'll email you and give you the names of some people, but it's really not a good active form. And Coach Me is just different. I want to go run a 5K. I can find a community like me and a coach who will text me and maybe someone who I can pay to call me once or twice, but it's not really that one-on-one relationship. So what's our business model, right? How are we going to make money from this website? we're going to do is we're going to use a business model that's being rolled out in similar kinds of industries. So for example, in the tutoring industry, we would take a commission of about 10 to 30% on each transaction. There'd be no barrier of entry. There'd be no barrier for listing. There'd be no cost for listing, and there'd be no cost for using. And we have some testimonials that I will flip through quickly, but I'll tell you all about it if we have some time, so I want to get to show you what our website really looks like. So what we've done is we've created this website on the Google App Engine, so it's really scalable. If we've got 1 million people logging in tomorrow, our system won't crash. And what we've done, gotta think big. What we've done is we've created an empty search bar here, so we can really see what are people coming to our website to know, what do they really want to learn, and that will allow us to know where to reach out, where to market, where to get our first tutors and our first learners. So if you type in life coach, you can push search. And I'd say, hey, I want to meet Alice. Click Alice. I think I'm out of time.
That's it.
Judges? So I think one of the challenging things with a marketplace like this, we see with tutoring all the time, is that what value you provide beyond the connection, how you keep people actually using the site to get that connection.
Right, and that's really the key. So in order to keep the commission coming, you've got to make sure that someone doesn't come in, click once, book a instructor through that, and then after that you're going under the table because that eats into our commissions. And I think we follow one of the key models, right? The Wyzant tutoring model is we want to make sure that our coaches are committed to us, they're committed to their students, and if somebody has a student for 1 time or 2 times and they keep dropping their students, that either shows that they're not a good tutor or they're skirting our rules. So with one strike, 2 strikes, and 3rd strike, you're out. And there's not another place that they're going to go that's going to give them the number of hits. So they're really encouraged to play within the model.
So I'm just wondering how you screen the tutors, how you decide who's going to be a tutor.
Okay. So what's really important here is that we're not doing coach screening. That's really not our model. Right? I can coach someone on public speaking skills since I am so great with the clicker. Right? So the idea is not screening. If somebody wants someone screened, they can list their credentials. There's an organization, international organization that certifies these kind of coaches. So if they're certified and they want to charge more and they want to be screened, they can put that up there. But we think that there are a lot of people who aren't certified that should be given the opportunity to mentor people.
Okay.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, all right. Up next we have E2L. Are you ready? Velvet.
Hi, my name is Paulo Provencio, and I've been an educator for 20 years.
Hi, my name is Katie Kahn, and I'm a school chef.
And I'm the Mary.
No, I'm Mary Hirota. We're the team behind E2L, Everyone to Lunch.
E2L transforms school lunch programs. Good habits start early. I was a chubby 6th grader, and I've struggled with weight my whole life. And I've seen people in my family struggle, and my spouse and their family struggle. I've even had family members die of complications from diabetes. And so I know that your diet is really important.
The problem is within schools, poor food education and poor food health is widespread. The issue is, how do these schools improve this? And it's a difficult process. So what we've done is broken that down. We have taken the 3 elements that we think are the biggest issues. One being they're afraid of the unknown. They think children won't eat new things. Another part is there's a problem with the thinking that healthy food must be expensive. And the third one is healthy food must taste bad.
I've seen the benefits of eating good food in schools. Kids are happy, they're excited. They start off kind of tentative and then they like the roasted Brussels sprout and they tell their friend and then they take the news home and they demand roasted Brussels sprouts at home and they start a dialogue and it's kind of exciting. Our MVP is a program that has a curriculum, a team of educators that are chefs and nutritionists that work with the school administrators and teachers. Then we make the food, we communicate about the food, what the menu is, what the health benefits, what the history of the food is. We eat the good food, the cafeteria time turns into classroom time. And then most importantly, we talk about the food. A lot of programs don't have a feedback loop for what's going on and things don't improve or change according to what's going on.
So next we have, how do we keep this cost reasonable? One thing is what we see in schools, just like many private schools in New York City, there's an issue with quality versus quantity. And a lot of these schools, you can eat as much as you want. So you give that opportunity to a small child, they're gonna go with what they know. So they eat pasta every day. They fill up their trays, they throw out half of that tray. Food waste is high, and they're not expanding their palates. So what we do is we structure the menus so that there's a strict portion controls. So these students are learning a variety of foods. They're learning what a portion looks like, and they're expanding their knowledge of different foods.
For validation, we're currently testing service contracts and tiered pricing. I emailed over 100 administrators, teachers, and parents, and I spoke with 39 of them. I videotaped 17 of them, telling me they would give us lump sums. They were ready to give us lump sums of $1,000 to $5,000, $50 to $100 per hour for consultation for 1 to 10 sessions, or $5 to $20 per student for student bodies that had 150 to 1,400 students. We also want to do a hack down where the students debate and give ideas about what they think is important about school food. So we didn't get the student component in, but that's the next step.
Also, we want to talk about our initial target audience. Our initial target audience will be New York City area private schools through grade 12. We know that we have some other competition in this arena, but I do know from firsthand knowledge that what they're lacking is what we're really focusing on, which is continuing the back loop of the communication between the students, the faculty, the staff, and the parents, and bringing that back to the food provider. What's lacking? Taking that ownership away from the food provider and putting it in the hands of the people you're feeding.
To add to that, instead of having a lunch lady, you would have a kitchen staff member that is trained to make a bechamel, to julienne things, to make a 10-day rotation that they would have a passion about. It incorporates their travel interests, their cooking talents, and then you have this amazing variety of food that you can have all year round that's seasonally, combined with seasonal food.
Thank you. It sounds like you got an incredible first response. It's fantastic. Of the people that were not as excited, what were a couple of reasons why, most common reasons why they didn't want to move forward with it? You got 39, right?
Yeah, their schools already had something like Red to Rabbit, which brought in great lunches. The vegetable combos were not so good, but they were missing the educational and nutritional piece. They were also missing the creating a community that's centered around eating good food and that transforms students into ambassadors of food.
It's beautiful. I love the idea. I'm curious, about the kind of like education portion of it for families, because having a kid come home and think that like mom and dad are at a restaurant and I'm going to order something off the menu, kind of thing. Like, how do you plan to integrate like that parent outreach, parent education component?
So this would start through, and it would have to happen be able to be introduced into a school and accepted. One way to do that is to, during after-school programs, you have a cooking component, a cooking class you can take. You can sign up for that. In that cooking class, you learn simple recipes with ingredients you can find in your local grocery store, and you take those recipes home, and that child now has ownership over, look what I made, let's make this at home. And they're sharing that information.
Also adding there. Sure, that would be a great idea. See, that's the feedback that we would use, and who's interested in what. We just added it, just do it. Plus, you can add the heritage of the child in. They're teaching their family, they're passing on traditions, they're sharing it with their friends, they're cooking at their houses. It's really exciting.
I just want to hear more about the homeschool connection, and I'm also wondering about expansion into public schools.
Sorry for the gentleman.
Okay, just a quick check-in. Make sure everybody has silenced their phones, yeah? Looks like everyone's been, I think it's like now common knowledge, but you never know. Always be respectful. All right, we were moving right along now that issues are. Next up is Holly.
Hi everybody, thanks very much for taking the time. We're here to tell you about Polly. Polly is a one-way school communication system that lets teachers communicate with all the parents of students in their class, no matter what the language is. Now, I hope the top part is pretty obvious. Parental involvement is one of the leading indicators of student achievement. But don't take our word for this. Take the Harvard Family Research Project of 2005, where they found that parental involvement led to better grades, better social skills, and a greater interest in higher education and progressing to the job market. So more than 42% of the nearly 1 million students enrolled in New York City's public school system speak a language other than English at their home, and that's just New York City. And to give you an idea of the market size here, 1,600 schools in New York City apply for funding and receive funding for translation services. It shows you that there is a need to translate bits and pieces. Now, the bits and pieces I'm talking about that they use the service for are really top-level documentation sent from schools. So all the communications that teachers need to get home to parents about what's going on, class tests, field trips, whatever it might be that parents need to know about, those parents who do not speak English are missing out and therefore are unable to engage with their children. So we validated our concept across over 20 different educators over the weekend. This is one of the educators who's basically said that every day they translate everything online, and then they ask another teacher to check it, and it takes forever. So from a teacher's perspective, it takes a lot of time. Some teachers are not even doing that. They just couldn't be bothered, and the communication is being lost if the parent does not speak English. So a couple of things that differentiate us. We are humans. Our translators are human beings who will pick up the nuances that are associated with education. So you don't get something like that happening. That is not great when it comes to school communications, going back to parents. We're also not a service provider where you have to go in and put in multiple different language options every single time you want to actually translate something. What we are is a simple to set up system for teachers. They create a class, they then list their students in their class, and then they associate a home language against every student. They save it, and they're ready to communicate with that class as many times as they want. So let me just hand over to the guys who built the system who are going to talk you through the demo.
So let's assume that I'm a teacher, and I'm already a happy user of Polly. Can you hear me? Yep. Cool. So I'm going to log in as a teacher here. And when I log in, I already have my classes. So I'm actually ready to create a message for the parents in my class. So let's say we have a math test on Friday. And I have a message for the parents. I would go down and pick my class, which is the third grade in this case, and I will leave this in 2 days. Now I will send this, and hopefully we will have a translator around.
Now we do have a translator around. Here's our translator. He's logged in as a translator and he's going to translate in real time.
So I already put in into the system which language I can raise from to this particular message material. So I'm just gonna translate there this into Spanish, which is a very difficult phrase to actually translate into Spanish because the idiomatic expression doesn't really work there very well. But we'll get it.
We're still logged in to the teacher site. He can see, he doesn't know who it was, but it's one of our recognized translators and he can see straight away that the Spanish translation is done. So if we go back to the message, we can go and see what's still pending. Well, we don't need to actually go back to that. If you were to go back to that message, you could see that Danish was still pending. Spanish was complete. Okay? In terms of our translators, two options. You've got hired contract professionals that we source, we verify, we vet. Okay? And they will be able to provide paid for services to schools. On the other side, we've got the poly community that my team paid me not to say we call the pollinators. So the pollinators are staff, they're parents, and they're grad students who are volunteering to translate. The grad students, before they can become verified translators, have to do community service.
All right.
Can I ask my team to come up?
And please don't, if I forget to do so, please go ahead and come up after your presentation is done. Okay? Whenever the judges are ready.
So really quickly, I've got to know what's the best that you guys can do on a turnaround time? Is it 24 hours?
So that was indicative, okay? Our professional translators will be able to provide a service for as quickly as they're comfortable in terms of the amount of words that are being submitted to us. We just put in those time preferences to give you an indication.
But,
you know, when we build, sorry.
But yes, the paid professionals will be much quicker, and that's why you would use that service if you need something immediately. So it would be up to 24 hours, and we would queue up a set of translators who would provide that service.
We're not going to beat Google Translate, but we'll be far more accurate.
So I think the obvious elephant in the room, if you start doing this well, why doesn't someone like Remind with millions of users do this?
Yeah, it's a good question. We see Remind as being a complementary service. They're very focused, from what we can tell, on providing real-time communications. In terms of sourcing translators and things like that, I think that would be slight feature creep. We don't know that they wouldn't do it, but if we can actually establish a really good system of translators and a system that really works well, I see that as a service that could work with ourselves rather than be competitive with ourselves.
And then, so let's just assume everything goes well. What does this look like at scale? Let's say you signed on all the schools in New York City, right? How many translators are you going to need?
So that we would start gradually and be to actually measure. But you know that is something that I don't, unless anyone else on my team feels comfortable giving a better answer to. I think that needs to be measured and assessed.
Yeah, we started out with the idea that there would be about 3 languages for every classroom, and from there we would continue to grow it. So we measured about 9 translators for 100 teachers, and we would continue to grow that pool from there.
Pollinators, huh? What was the plural of it when you were mother tongue? Sorry, was that a bad joke? Sorry. Hey, remember when that system cracked out? That was awesome. Right? But now, I have a little bit more wisdom. Take it away.
Meet Christina, a bachelor's in education. She's about to start as a first-year teacher for the first time in her life. But the odds are stacked up against her. 50% of teachers quit in the first 5 years of their tenure. Research suggests that good mentoring and induction processes can actually help with the attrition rate. Now we have a bit of a revolving door issue in the United States. We have 220,000 teachers who come in on an annual basis, but about 440,000 that quit. How do we solve the problem of quality education with these numbers? Now Christina, she's smart and she is determined because she has wisdom. Wisdom is a platform with a sophisticated algorithm that matches Christina with veteran teachers, in this case, Lydia. Now, Christina could have gone to a bunch of different resources like Khan Academy, Open Curriculum, Better Lessons. But the issue is that there is no convenient way to actually find comprehensive curriculums that actually fit her specific needs. The other problem is these tools actually assume that you know how to identify the right resources and you know how to apply them to your specific situations. Now, once Christina is matched up with Lydia, she has access to all the resources that Lydia is sharing. In this case, it's long-term plans, daily lesson plans, useful resources, weekly tips and reminders. Now, onboarding good mentors is an important aspect of our platform, and we're going to pay special attention to it. We're going to onboard mentors during the summer months, and we're going to pay comparable salaries, comparable fee structures that are comparable to the salaries they get for summer schools. So average about $5,000 for a summer school program. Now let me show you what we have built over the weekend. Once Christina signs up, she fills out her profile with a bunch of different questions. We use the data from this profile to actually match her up with different mentors. The matching process has a video attached to it, so there's a personal aspect to actually picking a mentor that fits your specific needs. In this case, Lee wasn't a good fit for obvious reasons. She goes ahead and picks Lydia, and Lydia comes up, and her profile is what she will be following. The resources Lydia is sharing are on her profile. She also has access to a forum where she can actually talk to other teachers who are following Lydia and has a bit of a support community for one-on-one type of question and answers. We talked to a bunch of different folks in the education community. We talked to about 25 teachers, one principal, and 20 out of 25 teachers actually said that they would buy into Wisdom. One principal gave us a good idea, saying that, hey, listen, I would use my professional development budgets to actually use Wisdom for the onboarding process of new teachers in my school. So from a financial sustainability perspective, our major expense would be mentor onboarding, and we would use a B2B bulk licensing model to schools and nonprofits like Teach for America to actually fund that. Quality control is obviously very important to us, so having a very strict vetting process to onboard quality mentors is important, but also a feedback loop going back from teachers to mentors to ensure there's relevancy. I would end with this. Average teachers tell, good teachers explain, superior teachers demonstrate, great teachers inspire. Wisdom, a teacher's companion in the journey to achieving greatness. Thank you.
Judges. So I think one question I would have is for districts and schools that already have mentorship programs, that already have mentors, how do you convince them that this is better when it's outside their school walls?
We're not going to be targeting districts that already have this program. Our thinking is we start small with probably a couple of colleges like Columbia or Penn that are graduating teachers. This is a free resource. They test it out. We get feedback. enhance the quality of our product. Then we go to Teach for America or a big nonprofit. Those nonprofits give us the credibility. And then we go to districts or schools, let's say in Europe, but we focus on schools that can afford it. So our model is focused solely on people who can't afford it right now.
And I would also say that, you know, in a school that had a really comprehensive mentorship program, they probably don't have this problem with teacher retention and this revolving door.
So my biggest question is the number one problem for teachers is often student behavior. So, and like you said, it's show me. So the video is great, but I'm wondering, I love you, Lydia, are you gonna come in and show me how to deal with Johnny real bad?
That is absolutely number one. So, and we think that the value add of this is that we can have things like that, and it's not just a random, you know, management tool that doesn't fit your classroom. This is a management tool that is tied to a teacher who you're following and a curriculum that you're following. So that makes it extraordinarily valuable. And I know that as a first year teacher 4 years ago, I would have given my right arm for something like this.
But you'll come in and give me a nanny experience.
Yeah, and
The
that's
forums and the private messages, as you can see on the
Correct.
tab, that gives you that ongoing feedback.
Wait, I mean in person.
correct. The in-person aspect is something that we have to work towards scaling our platform. So once we have enough mentors in the system, once we're able to do that based on our location, we'd be able to do it.
All right.
Down to one mic. No microphones.
One mic. All right. All right. Let's move it right along. Course path.
Okay, hi guys, my name is Swati and I'm here to talk to you about CoursePass. So I want to start with a quick story about my friend Stacy. She's 26 years old, has been working in finance for the past 5 years, and is miserable in her job. She wants to move to the tech startup space, but has no idea how her skills will align with that industry and how to get there. That's where CoursePass comes in. The tech industry has significant demand for new employees, but people like Stacy lack the training that they need to get those jobs. It's estimated that every year the digital skills gap drives almost a $1.3 trillion productivity loss for the U.S. economy. We want to help fill that gap. I'm sure many of you can attest to the fact that switching careers can be really stressful, especially when it's into an industry that you don't really know much about. People don't know what they don't know. And a simple Google search for how to learn web development skills yields 343 million results. A young lady we spoke to who was making a career switch into becoming a user experience designer told us she spent over a month doing research before she even decided which resource she was going to use. And people like Stacy who have busy lives simply don't have the time to dedicate to doing that kind of research. So I want to quickly walk you through our product and our website. And the three main things it does is it helps you figure out what your skills are, what skills you need to get to the job that you want, and how to get those resources. So when you log into CoursePass, you can use your LinkedIn profile to populate your skill set based on your work history, but then you can add in anything you might have missed. And then from there you can select, all right, what is my dream job? So it's Stacy's dream job to become a front-end web developer. So that's what she selects. And then CoursePass gives her a visual of the hard skills that she might need to get that and where she lands on those current capabilities. And let's say Stacy has one particular company that she's really interested in, and she knows that they don't care as much about CSS but has a different skill that they want. She can swap that out. It's dynamic. And so from this list, you can see that Stacy needs JavaScript skills. So she clicks on that, and basically what populates is a list, a curated and aggregated list of the top courses, both a combination of free and paid resources, some of the big influencers in the space, and some of the hot and talked about companies in that space as well. And so as she goes through these skills, she can check them off once she's kind of taken the class, and then she can track how her progress is in terms of filling out her skills gap. And ultimately, what she can do is she can actually build a portfolio on our website based on the skills that she's learned. And eventually in a 2.0 kind of version, we hope that she can actually just send that directly to any employers. Okay, so once Stacey goes through all these skills, she's ready to get out there and hit the workforce, get her new job. So, in terms of who our customers are and who we're initially targeting, we're aiming for the young career switchers aged 25 to 32. Research shows that millennials are twice as likely than 30-somethings to change jobs every 3 years. And they have the motivation and the money to spend on that. And so once we've established ourselves in this market, it eventually plan to kind of move down into the college and high school age people to kind of help them get those skills before they even enter the workforce. So I'm sure you're dying to know, how does CoursePass make money? Our initial revenue source is going to be from course referrals. In fact, we have confirmation from New York Code and Design Academy for a 10% referral fee, and we're finalizing details from Media Bistro for about 30%. We anticipate future agreements to fall in that same range. Based on the size of the online education market and our estimated referral fees, we anticipate to make roughly $240 per customer who buys a paid course, and that's assuming a person just buys one course through us a year. And based on Google's paid search advertising estimate, the first 10,000 paid content users will cost us about $130 each to procure. And so we have a few ideas in mind for how to build our customer base. So we're going to reach out to universities and as well as advertise on social media. And we also have links with some of these media providers in terms of helping us with our media strategy. And so ultimately, our vision is to help CoursePass become the ClassPass of the online education content market. And so that means we'd serve as a centralized booking and membership source for the digital content providers that we are already working with. This will help us transition to the user pay model and revenue share with content providers.
Judges, the mic is yours. I was like afraid.
So you said ultimately you want to become a ClassPass. I guess I'm a little bit confused. ClassPass, you pay a monthly fee and you can go to as many fees as you want. So that's one. Then just two, like, how do you differentiate yourself? There's so many results. I don't know what the number was at the beginning. So now you're competing against all of them. So how do you stand out?
Yeah. Oh, in terms of sorry. So we actually have an algorithm to rank because when you look at all of these content providers, there's so many, and within their offerings, they have all their rankings, and so we want to provide you with the best of some of the top resources out there. And so I think that's probably what's going to attract users to come to us, and then through that we can help them book directly through us and have like a monthly kind of membership fee for those content providers. So it's all kind of centralized in one place. Does that answer your question, or is that what you're asking?
So yeah, that's why I'm a little confused about the ClassPass thing.
I think what we're thinking about is right now we don't have leverage because we don't have users, but as we're getting more traction, we have leverage to actually talk to all these providers and say, hey, the revenue share model is good because we can provide you with more of a shared model, and you basically converting traffic to convert.
It's the exact same way that ClassPass actually started out their model. They started out free and then shifted to a subscription-based model.
I think one of the questions I have is, what were you targeting? GA is like months, Coursera is a couple weeks, Udemy is a session. So, and actually, more important question, who wants this? Either side, where's your validation?
Yeah, so I think from the target perspective, we have sort of the career changers is sort of a obvious market actually can pay money because they already make money to re-educate themselves into a new career. So the system helps them because they already have experience to point the skills that they need to learn. So that's what we target the most. But the idea is to build the paths for all these education systems so that user can understand where they need to go next in their development.
Our goal is to be the catalyzing force for legitimizing and accrediting the online skills development marketplace.
How's everyone feeling? Just refresh my memory. How many dwarves are there in the story of Snow White? What a coincidence! We're on pitch number 7 with Maker Makers.
Hi, we are Amy, Bridget, Peter, and Virtual Ben, and we make makers. We create tech kits and lessons for after-school programs that anyone can teach, and kids can discover a different kind of science all on their own. There is a hunger for making. In Brooklyn, in the dead of winter, parents line up around the block in the freezing cold, and this happens all around the country. Their hope, a spot for children in a creative engineering camp taught by an expert scientist. Yet most of the kids won't get in. There's only so much expertise to go around. So how do we share this expertise? How do we make opportunities and space for our kids to learn, create, and tinker with technology? Here's the need in after-school programs. In our research, we interviewed principals in New York City, the founder of After School Program, a businesswoman who leads a volunteer after-school program, and a technology integrator, Kristen Paino from this Avenue School. They all validated that there is a need for clear guiding lessons to accompany tech kits for hands-on learning in after-school programs. Kristen, a former public school teacher, said, I quote, "The first program to sell out in our after-school here are all about maker and technology hands-on learning." She continued, there is a need for your kids, particularly in the public schools.
There's a hunger for hands-on STEM learning. Our kits and lessons are instead of traditional science education, they are in addition. Make Maker projects meet core learning principles set out by the Learning and After School Coalition. They're active, collaborative, and they support mastery. Here's how a kit works. The kit will arrive. And in it, where's my text? Where's my text? All the components needed to create a hands-on learning project are included. Our kits will spark enthusiasm for STEM learning.
Our kits come with lesson plans written by STEM subject teachers that enable anyone to guide a group to learn together. You may not know how a battery stores electricity, but you do know how to try things out and see what happens. Making makers isn't about expertise. All it takes is curiosity. And speaking of curiosity, Sugata Mitra, Granny in the Cloud study, supports self-guided learning. And he says expertise is not necessary. It's the attitude that matters. So our kits and lessons will create enthusiastic tech guides to help self-guided learning. Clear instructions on how to set up a group to learn, but also give them room to explore and not tell them how every little thing works. Anyone can teach it. We've developed a website that will serve as a portal for a community, and a unique part will be able to allow learners to create and share content, which reinforces the principles of the 4 C's in 21st century learning: communication, creativity, critical thinking, and collaboration. This was really exciting to Kristen here at the Avenue School. This allows kids the ability to discover on their own time. Makers are made when you discover on your own time, when you play with a light bulb until it burns out. Yet these kits and lessons will turn the light on. The interest and enthusiasm for learning tech is sparked after school. So join us. We create tech kits and lessons for after-school programs that anyone can teach, and kids can discover a different kind of science and tech on their own. Thank you.
Any questions for the man on the team?
So how much?
That's one thing we still need to work on. We still need to determine the cost because when we put the kit together, we're still waiting. We want to do a monthly model, subscription based, or do we want to do a buy the kit at one as a piece?
I have a little insight. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. And what we thought we would do in order to keep people coming back and have levels of mastery is to include more components than are necessary and charge for another piece of curriculum that's attached to the first kit, another lesson plan, and build that way. And it would be more complex.
So this is a super hot space. Seeing lots of different products and like offerings around this. Tell us about your competitors and why this is better than what's out there.
That is what we found, certainly more and more over the weekend, the more and more people we talk to. There are many different kits out there. There's many different blogs out there. There are many types of resources. But I think what we aim to do is to market towards packaging and delivering information to non-science teachers on how they can deliver this message, how they can create self-guided after-school programs. You see schools,
and it's portable.
You see parents who may be interested in this but aren't sure on how to get this going. So that's our goal and what makes our program unique, as well as the networking community and the community for kids to share what they're learning.
You don't need an entire maker space. You need one granny as the granny of the world that says, and an interested adult.
Very nice, thank you. All right. Any math teachers or mathematicians in the room? Raise your hands if you're a math teacher, mathematician. All right. What's the square root of 4,096? 64. The mathematician PhD from Carnegie Mellon University in the back. And what's the square root of 64? 8. And what presentation are we on right now? Wow, that was terrible. Number 8, Mr. Caesar.
You already know I'm going to not use the mic, so I'm just going to project. You can't hear me, just give me a little signal. Hello, my name is Mr. Caesar. I'm a college counselor at Achievement First Brooklyn High School. I am passionate about helping my students find and enroll in the best colleges for them. But there's a big problem. High-achieving, under-resourced students lack guidance in researching and applying to selected colleges. According to a study from Stanford, 92% of high-achieving, low-income students do not even apply to selected colleges. Instead, they just go to their local colleges that have low graduation rates and a lower quality education. Meet Priscilla. We met Priscilla yesterday at a college fair. She's a senior at Boys and Girls High School, and she's also taking classes at Long Island University. She has a 3.0 GPA and has modest SAT scores. In the fall, she will be attending Utica College, where she and her family will be paying over $20,000 a year to attend a school that graduates only 44% of their students in 6 years. Compare that to my student, Tara. Very similar profile. She will be attending Franklin and Marshall College in the fall. Her family will only be paying about $4,000 each year for double the graduation rate. Priscilla is undermatched and overpaid. This is a huge problem, and we know why. Nationwide, college counselors are, on average, have a caseload of 470 students to one counselor. For students like Priscilla in low-income communities, that ratio more than doubles, 1,000 to 1. Priscilla does not have a Mr. Caesar. When we asked her about her process, she told us two things. I don't really know what I want. As I pick colleges, I'm just going with it. The second thing, I'm not good with deadlines, so I usually miss some. That was the biggest challenge. So let me introduce you to, two problems, undermatching and navigating the process. So let me introduce you to Mr. Caesar. A mobile-first web tool to guide students through the process, from search to submission to enrollment. You build a list. Here we go. Build a list, manage tasks, stay motivated. Let's see it in action. Here we go. We go to the home screen. You get a progress bar to tell you how far along in the process you are. You get the next immediate step that you need to be working on. You get upcoming deadlines and the ability to connect to a support network. Like I do with my students. First thing we do, I get to know them, they build a profile, and we build a list. Our algorithm, the same one that I use with my students, gives custom tailored list of schools that is right for this demographic. They can click on the school, get additional information, and star the school to add it to their list. You go down, you scroll, you add a few schools. Then you need to review that list. Your school list. This is live and a little slower than I'm moving, it's all good. Your school list, here we go. So you get to your school list, and the application categorizes the schools based on the likelihood of admissibility. To-do list, and we need to manage the application process. So students have upcoming tasks, to-do lists that they can keep track of. Check. Let's go back to the slide. Back to the presentation. Here we go. Our players. Students are our core users. High schools, counselors like myself, and colleges. Our business model, an app that costs 99 cents, which we will market with free promo codes through our community partners, a freemium model for high schools, and targeted ads for colleges. Our team, here we go, our team, which I lucked out, an incredible team. We are positioned, we have experienced professionals that understand and are passionate about all three of our users. So I just want to acknowledge them as they come up to the Q&A.
Certainly a huge problem. I'm just curious. So we invested in Raise Me, and they're charging the colleges. So why did you choose to charge the students, whereas the colleges pay an average of $3,000 a year for lead gen, and they want these students as well?
Absolutely. So you named it right there. Colleges want these students. They're willing to pay for it. We were first going to have this app for free. The reason we did a 99-cent model is to really, as a marketing tool, because we're going to give a lot of free promo codes through our partners. So through high schools, we want to get high schools involved, we want to get CBOs and college access programs involved. We want to give them those promo codes as a way to build that momentum. Like, hey, I got something for free. Let me add this. Let me sign up. It's a marketing tool.
Well, we had promotion from the universities and that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's asking about why charge our students.
Free revenue.
Yeah.
So my question is around the intake and then the matching. Because for low-income communities, attrition rate is not just financially related, but also socially related in terms of success in college. And so can you tell us about what intake you're taking, and then what you're doing to match and ensure that those right matches are being.
Yeah, great. I think I use some really, the data I use is graduation rates from schools, financial aid. I think we would look at a more complicated algorithm, which is what I really use with my students. We'll look at the percentage of students of color on campus, the strength of the community on campus, et cetera, and try to match students on those criteria as like the main focal point, but also like their majors and other things that they're interested in.
And does the user's relationship with this app end upon like entry to college, or is this going to be
So long-term vision is that this is their counselor for good, right? You get into college, and then later we also support you through college. So that's way down the road. All right.
Okay, moving right along. Yes. Number 10.
Number 9.
Nope, not -1. I wasn't done with my math. -1 equals 9. Dream coach.
Dream coaches ask students, what are you passionate about? Then they make it happen. New York City public schools, those that live in low-income neighborhoods, they don't have the resources for students to explore their passions and to actually discover how they can make their passions a reality. Thus, students aren't equipped to actually go out and live their passions. So, we have two sides of our market. We have our public schools, the students that are inside our public schools. 7th through 9th graders who are low income. We want to serve with coaches and experts from the industry so they can pursue those passions. We'll choose those coaches, those who have actually gone out and pursued their own passions and understand what it takes to really make their dreams a reality. And then we'll choose experts in industry who understand the actual industry that the students want to go into. So here's how it works. We're going to have an app where students are going to go on. They're going to build a profile. Then they're going to have an algorithm that goes about matching them to 3 different coaches. Then they're going to interview those 3 coaches, see which one's the best fit, have an initial meeting, and then go about picking their experts. So here's a demo for how this is going to work. Yes, we got Joe Biden. So, what is it that we're going to do? We're going to access New York City's rich industry. We're going to access all the experts that are in New York. Are we not on the slide there? Oh, there we go. And using our matching algorithm, you can see here, there's a percentage score for how much they match. And then they're going to tell you if there's another mentor that might be a better match. Along with that, we're going to do background checks for our coaches to make sure that they're going to be safe with our kids. And of course, we have our brokering algorithm that we mentioned before. So we went out and we wanted to ask life coaches, students, and parents, is this a worthwhile product? We asked a life coach, OC, who said that students at this age, 7th through 9th grade, are going through some of the most important identity development periods of their lives. Having a life coach, or a dream coach in our case, to actually guide them through their passions and lead them to what their identity may be is extremely important. We had another student, Armand, who said if he had the opportunity to do this, he would spend every hour that he had left after school to actually participate with this coach. His father then went to say that he would pay $6,000 for the entire year for him to have coaching sessions. So here's our funding model. We would actually go into low-income schools, and there they have certain budgets. And how their budgets work is they're allocated into certain fields. So we would look at their allocation for guidance counselors. Usually they don't have enough money to hire a new one, but they may have enough funds to hire a dream coach, someone else that can supplement the guidance process. We would take that as commission for us to provide free coaching for their students. Then we would go into grants and donations and try and fill up the rest that we need. So here's a 3-month plan. In our first month, we'll try and recruit 5 coaches, 5 experts, and build our own app, along with trying to recruit 20 students from varying different schools. Then in our second month, we're going to try and keep the population size the same, but we're going to implement something new. We're going to implement a feedback loop between parents and students so we can get new information and make sure the relationship between the coach and the student is staying amiable and beneficial to both parties. Then we would continue this feedback loop between parents, schools, students, and coaches to make sure everything's going okay. And these are our competitors over here. How we're different for them, we're providing both the mentors and the experts.
And we consider there's a lot of mentorship organizations that connect people. Like if I want to be a coach, I can be a coach, but there's no intelligence behind that. Do you think that's a possible implementation to start? So, like volunteering, I could volunteer to help kids in the city, but I'm just stuck, or I'm not stuck with anyone, but I'm paired with someone without any knowledge of what they want to do. So do you think that's a good place to start?
So this is where our feedback loop kind of comes in, where the schools are providing us information about those students and about what they know, and we're also getting information from the students. That's kind of like what the initial meeting is supposed to do with the coach, is we're gaining information about what the student needs and then trying to go from there. Does that answer your question?
Just trying to connect. Where do you plug this into first? Schools are hard, so I'm thinking about how you go after it.
So we're kind of going to go and talk to principals and try and see if we can just plug in that way. That's our initial model.
So I'm curious, you identified 7th through 9th grade students, so that's pre-high school, which is really interesting and a really great place to start. I'm curious about the actual data, because, or what you're presenting, because if you're looking to hit low-income communities, I think it's safe to assume that many of the students don't have exposure to family members or people that are immediate microsystem that have gone to college or pursued professional career paths. So I'm curious about like how you're starting with that as the entry point versus, you know, giving Joe Biden's profile. Kind of like validating what the actual needs are for that age group and low income, matching with what you developed. Yeah.
So I would say that the reason that we chose middle schoolers is because Breakthrough Collaborative, which is a huge organization, they've actually shown that going through interventions with middle schoolers over the summer and through after school programs really does help them get into better colleges or get to college at all. We're kind of taking a different route and just saying like, maybe it's the fact that they've never been asked the question, what do you really want to do? What are you passionate about? How can we then increase their level of success there so they can maybe then go on and do those same things?
To answer her question, there are also lots of research from nonprofits where design is done, where a student progresses, which has been studied over the 10 years. Actually, one of my company actually does that. Studies the student for 10 years and have collected data which says this was where they should have been. This is what they did not get. This is where they ended up and how their career changes. So that data, that's a big data analysis, and that regression model would feed into how actually the calculation is done, changing the balance of what could have been versus what it would be with the future coach.
All right. And then there were 4. Next up, Lift Up Labs.
My name is Ben Cohen, and we are Lift Off Labs. What we do is try and solve a large problem that has permeated throughout the education industry for quite some time. It's standardized test scores do not measure actual learning. And what we do here is provide a platform-based service that allows students to be audibly recorded while they go through the problem-solving process. Then take those scores, both objective and take those scores and send them to our expert analysts that will then take that and assess the entire education unit, the teachers, the students, and the overall curriculum effectiveness. Our value proposition is that teachers, government officials, and parents will then be able to take this information and assist the students in focusing on what they need to do to get better. We had government validation earlier this morning, where we are able to focus in on looking at forward and providing solutions in the near future. We are also hoping to deal entirely with the private school market, and so that private school validation occurred earlier this morning as well. And actually, the technology integrator from the Avenue Road School said, Liftoff Labs is a great platform. Once developed, it could work perfectly in our school. So we are focusing on the private school market mainly to assess students that have the ability to pay for an assessment and assess the schools that have that option as well. And what we're doing is specifically attacking the learning process, not the results. This way we can go in and figure out how the student got to where they are, what information is not being sent over and what is not being effectively taught in the school system. And then going in, taking that and applying it to the current curriculum to be fixed. And we're able to assess students on an individual basis as a classroom unit, benchmark them across the school and to any other schools in similar areas that are using this platform, and then assess the teachers' effectiveness. What we intend to do is focus in on the private school so we can reduce costs in the near future, and then focus on creating a platform for public school students. Our revenue model is quite simple. We are offering this platform to schools and the data to parents and assessment to teachers and to individual students as well as the classroom units so that, that schools can assess the way their curriculum is being taught if it effectively teaches the students through the learning process. And if we could go to our demo. So the way this works is a student will log onto our site and go to his respective grade, and there will be several questions there that they can answer. As they go through it, they will then record their voice going through the problem, figuring out how they think about the problem, get the steps. We will then take that information, the answers, and any scratch pad notes that have been taken on an application, and that will be sent off to our assessors. We will then look for the logical reasoning and figure out if, for example, a student doesn't know or is having trouble with fractions. Why is that student having trouble with fractions? Where is the disconnect between the information and the execution of the problem? So that's who we are. This is Liftoff, and I'm ready to take any questions.
So who's analyzing and assessing it?
Our intention is to have master's and PhD students in third world countries assess these students.
Why Audible? Or why do I have to dictate what's going on in my scratch pad?
This enforces the logical reasoning. It allows the student to take a step back, figure out how they're trying to solve the problem, focus in on the steps that they need to do, and we get to figure out easily, based on what they tell us, where they're not understanding concepts in the material.
So just to cut it in, sorry. So right now the cognitive understanding is still kind of a developing field. On a very low level, it's a regurgitation where somebody just says exactly what somebody tells them to say. On a little bit higher level is kind of the procedural. Like the student would kind of know 1 + 1 = 2 just because it worked for other levels. And then for simplicity's sake, like kind of like the higher level is kind of metacognition, in which what that kind of means is for the student to go in the third person and kind of assess why they're doing things. And that's really what we're trying to find a metric. We're trying to kind of forge ahead and see a connection between the meta and the procedural. And we're focusing on efficacy, and that's really our big mission, is to really drive student outcomes and try to measure real learning, whereas standardized tests really don't.
I love the idea for kids who really have a hard time writing, but I'm just wondering if you thought a psychologist, a psychiatrist, a teacher.
I love that you brought that up. That was actually, we chose with me, that's like in the back pocket. The Department of Education advisor for family engagement, that's, we explained to him, his eyes lit up. And I don't know if the quote was there for long enough. It was like, you know, it was really exciting. I was excited because he was excited because I was excited. Excitement all the way down. So essentially what he said speech pathology. He said English as a second language, and then he kind of got it. What we chose with math, we chose to kind of demo with math and to build the initial platform with math is because math is kind of the most pure logic form. It's very logical. And so what we want to do is we really want to build a platform that enables us to build things on top of it. And that's really the only reason. But I completely agree with you. There are a lot of applications, and we're really excited. We're going to work on this. Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Just three more. I think we can all get behind at least the title of this next one, Redefining You.
Learn by exploring. Go back one, please. Change by doing. Make your future. Learn by exploring, change by doing, make your future.
Clap once if you think that sucks. Clap twice if you think getting lost sucks. Well, we've got debt for you. $1.1 trillion. That's how much our students are in getting a college degree. And for those of you that can equate it in college terms, that's 125 billion beers. That's a lot of beer. It takes, on average, 6 years for a college student in the US to graduate with a 4-year degree. And 33% of those students don't ever walk across the stage. Go back one. Oh yeah, that's crazy. Why? ¿Por qué? We think that's simple. Students aren't ready for college. Imagine a 17-year-old spending time at home, finishing up their senior year in high school. Their life, to a degree, has been pretty scripted. And now in 3 months, they're headed to university, they're picking classes, they're choosing a major, they might be deciding where to live. Many of them aren't ready for it, and tragically, some of them are lost. Oh, wait. Don't worry. We've got a plan. Redefined EDU.
Phase one is that advisors will match desires with action-oriented experiences and learning. That starts with the call, and then we customize. An example would be do service learning to get perspective on your own life, such as to build houses. Phase two is we launch a 2-year curriculum. Year one is self-reliance and teamwork, such as Outward Bound, where you're actually building things instead of inside necessarily a classroom, and survival skills. Year two, we solve problems and make things, focusing on engineering, design, and sales. So let's look at the app. We'll go into a little bit more detail. First, you might want to download the application. And this is, the app that we designed this weekend. An example use case is we can target high school graduates who don't know exactly what they want to do yet, or people who might be in college, they know what they want to do and that they have a major selected, but they want to go into more depth and get access to more programs. So first, you would pick topics to see what experience you want to go into. In the case of the person who doesn't know what they want to do, it might be, I like making things. You can look at that, or you can pick one of the majors that was there before. In the case of making things, we have 2 different tracks. You have self-reliance and service, and you have solve problems in making things. Let's go to self-reliance and service. So at this point, there's a lot of opportunities to learn, and there's a lot of details there that help people decide, including you might build infrastructure to provide running water for community, yoga, and meditation for self-discovery. We support students to go farther. We learn their interests. We counsel them on things such like what's next. Is it college? Is it an apprenticeship? Or something else? Let's go back. Let's say we actually have a major in mind. We want to go into more depth. So we'll click on solve problems and make things. That's in Budapest. So in this case, we'll focus on problem-solving exercises using design, engineering, and sales. Think about Startup Weekend, except it's over many months and many iterations and actual teams that choose to commit to that or work with our partnership companies and mentors. I actually backpacked for 10 months and did this essentially myself and built a couple apps, and I definitely recommend it. So again, you meet career guides and go from there. As far as the cost, it's about $9,000, but that includes room and board and all of your living expenses, so the vast majority is that. But the real value is that you know what's next. You're actually ready for apprenticeship, work, or college, or whatever that may be. We actually did some research, and so this is a parent who said, start in high school, work with as many people as you can, and include vocational things that might lead to something such as an apprenticeship. We also spoke with another student who really likes that it's gives a lot more opportunities to think beyond what they're used to, and that gives them a direction in what they're doing. Made a website, and we raised 9 contributions, so thank you so much.
So you're focused on low income, is that right? But it's still but you're charging $9,000 something dollars. So where's that money coming from?
So the low income part, that was simply a quote from a parent who was supporting the idea. That's actually 75% less than private schooling, but the target would be people who, the problem focus that we're interested in are people who go to college and end up amassing a lot of student debt, but didn't actually work in the major that they wanted to do. The purpose of this being, let's help you figure that out. So it's people who otherwise are going to amass that debt, but they really shouldn't, or potentially some people who might not quite go to college, but they want to learn more. Yeah.
So to clarify, this is like a alternate pathway to college for high school graduates.
Yeah, I mean, you might end up going to college. You might do an apprenticeship. I mean, there are other educational systems in the world where apprenticeship starts much earlier. So this is just kind of helping in an unbiased way with some focus on international, helping them to see more options.
So how can I trust then if I go this path rather than college that I'm going to have those things on the other side?
Well, I mean, again, if the college is for you, then we definitely want to help you do that and get, go to college. But I mean, the point being that you might want to focus on a particular major that you can learn by, getting real skills. Or did you have a more specific part of that question there?
Just, I mean, it's really hard to turn down something that everyone else is doing and has kind of a path, to your point, of just the script. So how do you convince someone to take that chance with a new organization?
Well, there's a Steve Jobs quote that goes something about how once you learn that, the world doesn't have, like, the world was structured by people who know more than any of us, and so this is the opportunity to discover that for yourself, and the rest of the quote is something to the effect of, then that's the most powerful thing that you can do. And so we want to introduce that to people so they can do more. Thank you.
All right. Okay, and then there were 2. Give it up for Wiz Arts.
I don't think I really need this, but. Hi, I'm Katie. and
Hi, I'm Driss.
and we are
Wizards!
Wake you up. All right. So our goal is to complete education through art.
So when I was living in Paris, I had this very nice girlfriend, and she would take me to the Louvre Museum. And she would show me around and tell me all these cool stories about the paintings and the artists. Unfortunately, we're not together anymore, so I find it very boring to go to the museum.
And as a lifelong learner, I am just interested in learning to what this city has to offer, both for me and also for my students. I would prefer not to go to the bar crawl on a Saturday afternoon. I would prefer not to maybe go to a movie sitting down inside of a room. I would like to learn on the weekend, but I don't have a really great way of doing this, and I don't have a lot of time to plan my excursion throughout a museum.
That is why we created Wizard. So Wizard is a mobile app that connects you to an artist that will take you on an actual tour in a museum.
Great, so this is the website that we created this weekend. Again, it's an artist that takes you to, that meets you at a museum to provide a unique experience. And we thought this is a great idea, but we actually wanted to go and see if people wanted this, if there was a need. So yesterday, we went to the MoMA, and we talked to over 25 people, and the response was 100% yes. Everyone was completely on board. We talked to both artists and people that were just interested in art. And people actually offered our in-house art expert $45 to go through the museum in addition to their $25 MoMA entrance fee. Pretty cool. So you can hear more about our customer validations on our website if you're interested. But for now, let's...
Yeah, it sounds cool. Let's download the app. Let's try it. So when do you want to go?
Well, I'm feeling really energized after 54 hours here, so let's go today. Great. So we just found Amelia. She's an expert in contemporary art, and that's perfect. I think that I like contemporary art, but I don't actually know much about it. I actually trust this rating system. There are 5 stars. I know she's been vetted by an art expert. And it's $40 for just me, so if I had the afternoon to myself and I wanted to do it, I could, but I'll let you come.
Yeah, can I invite other friends?
Yes, okay. Great, so let's invite some of our friends. So look, they're already synced, that's super easy. We'll invite a couple, let's pick about 4, so it's now $25 for each of us. We don't have to touch the app again, our confirmation is sent. Wonderful, we are booked for today, 1 p.m. We'll meet Amelia at the MoMA, and we'll be ready to go.
I think we're a bit late though. So if we take a look at the competition environment right now, we're the only service out there that provides a tour which is flexible, fun, and customized, and that pairs that with an amazing user experience, as you have seen with the app, and also a very good level of expertise of our guides. So if we look into more into details in the business model, so we've done some research with the potential users, and we found out that $40 per hour for an activity seems to be a good price, and we also benchmarked that with what other activities you can do on a Saturday afternoon. We'll be taking 15% of the transaction, and also we'll be monitoring very closely three key metrics. So the first one is, of course, how many active users we have on the website, on the app, how many active guides, so artists, and what is the cost of acquiring our customers. What are the next steps? We are launching the beta version by the end of the month, so we're launching New York and testing the product here. We're launching London and Paris, which are the 2 other cities which are big in the cultural environment right now. And then by the end of the next year, we'll be launching globally. For that, we need money, seed money for the end of the month, Series A in 1 year, and Series B in 2 years. We're a team of 8 coming up from 8 countries. We have an amazing product team, an amazing business team, educators, and our professionals.
Great, so again, we are WizArt. We're a mobile application that connects people that are curious about learning more about art, or not art, oh my goodness, about art, and connecting artists to provide that curated experience for them.
Okay, judges.
Did you take the money from the person who said it's gonna give you $45?
We ended up doing an exchange, so we asked them some more questions. We're like, well, just give me the money and we'll ask you. Like, we asked them about 20 minutes worth of questions, like all the apps that took them to Oklahoma, how they planned,
How they planned their trip. So we kind of exchanged information instead of money.
Yeah, we didn't have time. We wanted to get that validation to make sure it's something they could use.
So on one of the slides, it said that there are like walking tours and other things, and that's outside museums, like neighborhood tours, or this is all museums? I just want to make sure I'm on the same page.
Some museums do have walking tours, but there are also separate startups that have done just unique walking tours, like a walking tour of downtown Lower East Side, or a walking tour of Colonial Williamsburg. So those are what we were kind of looking at price point wise, as well as people are interested in unique like guided experiences with a professional.
But it's only for museums.
It's only.
Yes, that was a competitive analysis against our competitors.
All right. Wait.
So
right here.
So in New York, so let's just take, how many museums, how many guided tours do you do in 1 year? New York's obviously a huge market.
Yeah. So basically, if we check New York, if you check the Met only, it's 6 million visitors per year. We're targeting by the end of the year about 20,000. 20,000 users in New York, 20,000 per group of 5. So you can have about 10,000 groups per year, 10,000 visits.
And there's 17 million art students, right? So someone who might need some extra cash. There's
17 million art students in New York. That's current and live in New York. 17,000. 17,000 that live in New York. But it's not just art students. It can be art professionals, curators. Yeah.
I'm sorry, we had to connect. Thank you. All right. Let's play a little game. Can someone tell me what xenophobia is? Fear of foreign is correct. What is acrophobia? Incorrect. Acrophobia. Acro is height. Arachnophobia is fear of spiders. What about triskaidekaphobia? Fear of the number 13. What a coincidence. Our 13th and final presentation. Matt job.
Alright, I'm gonna forego the mic and project. This is the 54th hour of me talking about math education. Few subjects are the target of as much animosity and concern as math. The majority of students who enter middle school behind in math leave 8th grade even further behind than when they enter, hurting our economy and limiting children's future opportunities. One of the leading causes of poor math performance is that a lot of kids don't like math. Now granted, this research is out of Stanford, and it's not as though they're renowned for research and education. Oh wait, they are. And they found that students working in small groups tend to learn more of what is taught and retain it for longer than when the same content is presented in other instructional formats. And the bottom line is that teachers need a platform to engage students of all skill levels in a collaborative and meaningful way. Students need an educational experience that is engaging and incentivizes collaboration. The solution. So much more dramatic. The solution is math matchup. Now, currently, there are a lot of ed tech products on the market that are trying to help kids learn math. But most of these products have a student working independently on a computer or are a small supplement. There is not conversation or collaboration happening on a regular basis in math classrooms. And the feedback that kids get is usually focused more on whether the answer is right or wrong, rather than on their thought process and the creativity and beauty of solving a math problem. No wonder kids don't like math. But we can fix that. Video?
A platform to gamify
Wi-Fi math instruction. A web-based application for laptops and tablets. Each student starts with their own device and the teacher with a projector. We begin with some mental math to get some warm-up. Afterwards, teams are presented with a team problem. If everyone agrees on the same problem and gets it right, the team earns a point. An additional point can be earned by choosing to present your work. Each team member then receives their own personalized problem. If every single person gets it correct, then the team earns a bonus point. This process then repeats itself with more team problems and individual problems. Students are incentivized to collaborate and communicate to earn the most points possible. Gamification gets the students excited about the process. Teachers and parents can receive up-to-date data about student understanding. What are students saying? I like it better than what I'm doing now in math class. And it helps kids find people to work with without being embarrassed. What are teachers saying? I'm already trying my best to figure out how I can convert this to being something that I can do in my classroom. And I don't even teach math. I think it's a great idea. And what about principals? They always have something to say. I liked it and would use it in my schools. I like that it is interactive, competitive, and uses technology.
So our product is fun and gets kids thinking deeply about and discussing math. Plus, teachers can easily see which kids get it and which kids need additional help. Okay, so as far as our business plan, we partnered with a school to pilot the program at a single grade level to learn more about what works best for students and teachers and to gather data to demonstrate what Math Matchup can do. To incentivize participating, we'd offer customers the product at a discount in exchange for piloting the product. And as soon as we can, we'd like to partner with a publishing house so we can build the product quickly. Publishing houses have common core line curriculum and a large customer base, and are trying to continue growing in the EdTech market. This enables us to quickly develop the product and have it reach a large number of students across grade levels. And we would offer this product to customers using a site license that would cost $5 to $10K per year, depending on the size of the site. Other products don't include the collaboration opportunities that ours does, and they also charge more, up to $30K per year for a site license. ST Math. Primary customers include schools and districts, as well as after-school programs, math clubs, and test prep companies. Now, as far as how we're going to reach teachers, Twitter is a great way to reach them. They are the second largest group on Twitter behind celebrities. Teachers are, and we would also be reaching out to customers through conferences and websites focusing on helping teachers use technology.
Q&A. Don't want to touch the baby, is that?
What's next? Who's your perfect either teacher or group to work with?
So the way that we envisioned this product initially launching would probably be in public schools and in schools where they're getting a lot of newer and less experienced math teachers, because the content is would already be preloaded in there, so that way it helps them to kind of ease into teaching and be able to focus more on supporting students and student achievement as their learning curriculum, instead of having to develop their own while doing all the other things that teachers have to do. However, there's the potential to use the same platform across a variety of academic learning environments.
To clarify, is it like tablet based?
It's a web-based application, so that way teachers can use computers or tablets, and so for students, ideally though, we would have students using tablets just because they're less cumbersome than laptops.
And is it like, when you say collaborative, does that mean that all students can log into the same interface at the same time?
So I'm gonna actually let our technical handle that question.
Yeah, so everyone can log in to the same system, same activity at a time, and it's we want to have it live updating so the teacher can see something different than the students. So once they're at the student portion, the student can see their own separate questions at that second stage, and while the teacher is seeing who's completed it and who's not completed their answers.
At student level.
Right.
And then the actual assessment of who got it right is at the student level on that dashboard.
Yes.
And to clarify, it's collaboration happens in person, so you group your students together and have
On
some.
one device.
No, one per student.
While they're doing their team problems, students aren't really on the device, they can have it down. So they're focusing on each other.
All right.
Give it all one big round of applause once again. Our esteemed judges are going to deliberate. There's some amazing stuff. It's going to be a tough decision. In the meantime, dinner is about to be served. We have two options for everyone to be eating dinner, so we're going to do it in a more orderly fashion. So everyone from the column to the right, go towards the end. Oh, actually, never mind. Go straight down the hall towards Ben. Point to the handsome guy in the middle.